Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Michelle. I garden here in Atlanta, Georgia, and this fountain has recently become a lot of my personality. I've been dreaming about having a fountain in the garden for a very long time, and earlier this year we installed the fountain by ourselves. I have a video up about that process, and now it's time to add some blooms around this fountain. I have a problem where I like to grow and collect all of the different types of perennials and shrubs. And so oftentimes that means I have just one of something that I bought and trialed in the garden as a test to see if I like it or not. And that is exactly what happened with this incredible wee white hydrangea. So I purchased just one incredible wee white hydrangea to put in front of this windowsill. My goal was to add a hydrangea under the window that wouldn't be tall enough to block something, but also would be beautiful and add some color to this space. And that is exactly what the wee white hydrangea did, and exactly why I went ahead and bought 3 more to landscape around this fountain. Okay, I needed to take a break from the squatting to tell you a little bit about Invincibelle wee white hydrangea and why I decided that it would be the perfect thing to add summer blooms around the fountain. So Invincibelle wee white is the compact version of Invincibelle hydrangea, which I think tops out at about 4 to 5 feet tall. This stays under 2.5 feet tall, which for me is the perfect height for the fountain. The fountain tops off at 36 inches tall, so I wanted something that would complement the fountain but not completely cover up the fountain. Invincibelle wee white hydrangeas is great in zones 3 through 8. I'm actually in zone 8A now, so I'm almost starting to push the zone with Invincibelle wee white hydrangea. Now this hydrangea is a hydrangea arborescens type, which means that it is going to bloom on new wood. This is a great hydrangea if you live in a colder climate, as a late frost is not going to affect this year's blooms, as blooms form on this year's growth, or the branches that are going to grow this spring. So whatever happens over winter and early spring happens, it doesn't impact the show that you get. Unlike your oak leaf hydrangea and your mop head hydrangeas, those are the blooms that are impacted in a late frost. This is also a native hydrangea, so if you're interested in adding more natives to your garden, this is a great one to add. This is a hydrangea that's done really well for me, and it's a hydrangea that also will put out some smaller blooms a little bit later, so you get this one big flush now, and then there are still some new buds there that are going to bloom a little bit later to kind of refresh the color on the hydrangea. This is a hydrangea where the blooms do age kind of pinky for me, and I would say in the Atlanta climate, this is one that you want to plant in a part sun environment. This is a hydrangea that's actually rated for part sun to sun. I would say in a southern climate like Atlanta, you probably want to give it a little bit of protection from the afternoon sun and put it in a part sun environment. But if you live in a northern climate, I bet this would do great in a full sun environment for you. Another tip that I'll share that can save you a little bit of money is that hydrangeas in general seem to have pretty rapid growth rates, which means you can actually start with a smaller plant. A smaller plant is going to be easier to plant. It is going to be a lot friendlier on your wallet. You will still get blooms the first year. By next year, it looks like a 1 to 2 gallon plant, and the year after that, it looks just like a 3-gallon plant. So if you are trying to landscape a large area or just looking for some ways to save money in the garden, things that are fast growing like hydrangeas, I go ahead and normally buy as a quart size instead of a 3-gallon. I found the 3-gallon in stock locally. This plant was actually delivered by Surfscape. If you live in the Southeast, Surfscape is a really cool nursery that saves me a lot of time because I'm often looking for very specific plants to add, and I can just go on their website, see if they have it in stock. I can pick it up from their location, or they will deliver it to you, and that saves me from trying to go to a few Home Depots, a few Pikes, a few Lowe's, looking for that one plant that I might need multiples of for an area that I have in my head that I want to bring to life. So this came from Surfscape. It was delivered, absolutely beautiful. I was kind of on the fence about nursery delivery because I really like picking out my plants. I feel like it's like ordering grocery delivery, but with produce, right? Like you want a certain type of banana. Maybe you like them a little bit softer, maybe you like them more green, but the person picking out that banana doesn't know that about you and doesn't really care. Same with shrubs. I'm kind of picky, but you know what? I am okay to unclench sometimes and give control to somebody else, especially when the shrubs that I've had delivered from them and perennials that I've had delivered from them have been beautiful. So if you live in the Southeast, definitely check out Surfscape. But now it's time to get these in the ground. So it is definitely the peak of summer here in Atlanta, and as you can see, I've got very clay soil that I'm working with. I just need to do a clay shot to prove that to you guys. What I think is the most important tip for keeping plants healthy and happy during the peak of summer, if you're still planting like me, is water. A well-watered plant is a plant that is able to adapt and establish to an environment even when it's hot outside. So I wanted to make that clear because I'm not showing that during this video, but before I planted the hydrangeas, I watered them in the can, and then immediately after I drowned the hole to make sure that these hydrangeas were well hydrated and not going to go into any sort of shock. Then from here on out, I'm going to be watering the hydrangeas every day for the first week, every other day the week after that, every third day the week after that, and so on and so forth until they establish. Okay, that's it. They're in the ground. As you can see, I've got very clay soil, but like I said before, these hydrangeas do not seem to mind at all. Over these next few weeks, I'm going to stay on top of watering, and for the next few years, I will fertilize them in early spring, and then that's it. They're on their own, and they are incredibly low maintenance and beautiful in the garden. As always, I want to end by saying thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting my channel.
Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Bye.